This is the new DJI Pocket 4P and it's packed with features like 4K 240, 17 stops of dynamic range in the new D-Log 2 profile, a new telephoto camera, and a little remote that makes filming yourself way easier. This finally feels like the upgrade creators have been waiting for. So in this video, I'm going to show you what's new, what I like and dislike about the 4P, and whether or not it's worth upgrading to. Welcome back to Think Media, Nate here. Now, DJI flew me out to Toronto along with a few other creators to get hands on the new Pocket 4P. I also shot a bunch with the Pocket 4 while I was out there, so if you want to see a full comparison between these two cameras, let me know in the comments down below. But for this video, we're going to be focusing on the new Pocket 4P, starting off with its design. At first glance, the Pocket 4P looks really similar to the Pocket 4, but the biggest difference is the new gimbal head. It's slightly larger because now it includes a 3x telephoto camera, and honestly, I thought this would make the camera feel a little top heavy, but now having used the camera, I still find it lightweight and easy to take around. I also really like the new gimbal lock. When you turn off the camera, you don't need to put on an extra cover. The gimbal itself locks into place, so you can just easily toss this in a bag and travel with, and that makes the camera feel just a little bit more secure versus being loose in your bag with the gimbal flopping around. But the real reason why this new gimbal head matters so much is now it houses two cameras. You have the main camera, which gives you that wide 20mm field of view, and now you have the new 3x telephoto camera, which gives you around a 60mm equivalent field of view, and that completely changes how useful this camera is, because now instead of every shot feeling the same wide angle, you can actually build a sequence of shots that tells a story. You can go from wide establishing shots to detailed tighter angles without needing to carry a full mirrorless setup. And I think that's the biggest reason why a lot of creators will want to consider the 4P. So taking a look at the image quality, this is probably one of the biggest areas of improvement on the Pocket 4P. You can now record 17 stops of dynamic range in the new D-Log 2 profile. This is quite the jump from the 14 that we got on the Pocket 4. Now, much like you, when I first heard 17 stops, I didn't really believe it, but after playing back some of this footage, there is a lot of latitude. As you can see right now, I'm shooting in the shade and there's some bright skies behind me, and the new D-Log 2 and these 17 stops of dynamic range is able to capture that detail in the highlights while the shadows don't get too noisy. And just for context, my Sony a7S III has around 13 true stops of dynamic range, so the fact that the 4P can surpass that is really impressive. Now, there are a couple important things to note. To get to the full 17 stops of dynamic range, you need to be shooting in the D-Log 2 profile, and this is only available on the main 1x camera. So when you switch over to the tighter 3x telephoto camera, you have to shoot in the regular D-Log profile. That profile gives you around 14 stops of dynamic range, which is still really impressive, but it does make switching between the cameras a little annoying. For example, if you're shooting in D-Log 2 and then you tap the 3x camera, it actually won't let you switch until you change your color profile. I wish DJI made a simple prompt that popped up as soon as you want to switch over. It would just kind of say, confirm that you're going to switch to D-Log, and you just press one button and you're good to go, versus digging around through several settings. Now, the current workaround is just to shoot in the regular D-Log profile on both cameras. That way, as you switch between the two, it keeps it consistent and you only have to worry about one setting. Now I want to take a moment to address the image quality on the tighter telephoto camera, and I think it looks pretty nice. As you can see in this example, you can get a touch of background blur in your video, which is really cool to see out of this little camera. I think that just really helps add to the visual variety when you are making your videos. Now, if zooming into 3x isn't enough, you can actually digitally zoom in all the way up to 12x if you want to get even more reach. Just know you will lose some image quality the further you zoom in. For me, I like to treat both cameras as individual focal lengths, so you have like two prime lenses, and that just helps you get the best image quality. Now, in terms of slow motion, the main camera can shoot up to 4K 240, and the telephoto can do 4K up to 200 frames per second. Now, I personally don't use frame rates that high all the time, but what I realized with this camera is when you combine slow motion with a tighter lens, you get some really smooth, dynamic looking shots, and that makes it really useful for filming B-roll on the go. The one downside is that the slow motion mode does not support log for some reason, so if you're shooting the rest of your video in D-Log or D-Log 2, matching your slow motion footage can be a little bit tricky. Another area where the telephoto camera really helps is with photos. You can shoot up to 37 megapixel photos in the 1x1 recording mode, as well as shoot RAW and JPEG. But where I think this makes it a better photo camera is having that additional tighter field of view, which is great for portraits because you get more of a compressed look, a little bit more background separation, and it just feels more intentional compared to the usual wide look you get on these pocket cameras. But if you're already carrying around the Pocket 4P, I do think this is something you could actually use for quick photos and social posts. Now let's talk about stabilization, because one question I had about the Pocket 4P is whether the stabilization feels different with this bigger gimbal head. I've heard a few creators mention that the 4P feels less reactive than the Pocket 4. Personally, I haven't noticed anything in my test. To me, the footage still looks really good. Walking shots are smooth and the pans feel natural. But here is a quick stabilization test so you can see for yourself. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Does it look less reactive or does it look just as smooth? Now, thanks to that telephoto camera, it's going to magnify any sort of shakes you might have. So it's extra important that the stabilization is smooth. And honestly, I was pretty impressed with the look I was getting out of the telephoto camera. I think it looks pretty good, pretty smooth, even on that tighter focal length. Now let's talk about tracking. This works pretty similar to the Pocket 4, where you can just simply tap on your subject or use gestures to activate tracking. Now, I think tracking becomes even more useful with the telephoto camera, because with that tighter focal length, you can now orbit around a subject and it keeps them framed up nicely in the center. And that just allows me to focus on the movement rather than worrying about my composition.
All right, so we're testing out the tracking mode on the Osmo Pocket 4P or 4 Pro. I'm not sure which one you would say, but the cool thing about with this system is I feel like the tracking is a little bit better on the 4P, but you could also zoom into 3x and have it still track, which is a huge, huge advantage. Now I'm 3x on the Osmo Pocket 4P. You can see just how well it is tracking me, even on the tighter lens. But I think you could even go further if you wanted to digitally zoom in. So let's try that. All right, so we have the Osmo Pocket 4 on its 1x, and the 4P, I set it to 12x, so the maximum amount of zoom you can get from this camera, and it still tracks me, which is just kind of crazy if you are not even just focusing on yourself, but tracking an object or a person far away. It can still pick that up, which is really impressive to see. And if I get closer, just see how close can I get. That is pretty wild.
Now, if you want the ability to control your camera at a distance, DJI has included this little remote in their creator combo. And I think this accessory is pretty neat. This allows you to view your image, adjust your framing with the joystick, and even play back footage right from the remote. Now, one downside is you can't control every little setting, like you're adjusting your resolution or different frame rates. It's pretty limited on what you can control, which is a little bit unfortunate. But even with those limitations, I do find this remote to be handy, especially if you are filming at a distance. Maybe the camera is mounted at an odd angle. It's very easy to check your shot with this remote. Now, you may have noticed I've been using some filters on the DJI Pocket 4P, and this has a different way of mounting compared to the Pocket 3 and Pocket 4, which were magnetic. This instead kind of slots in and then like twists to lock, which is not as fast as the magnetic attachments, but I do feel it feels a lot more secure. The filter that I'm using right now is made by Freewell, and this is the ND32 strength. So this is just the perfect amount of ND for me to set my shutter speed to 1/50th, so I get the proper amount of motion blur. Now, I wanted to test out the audio quality of the DJI Pocket 4P, so let's take a listen at a few different tests I did while I was out in Toronto.
Just get a little internal microphone.
Internal microphone test. I swear we're not making the same video.
We're trying our best here. We got the Osmo Pocket 4 and the 4P side by side. Take a listen to this audio test. And we got David Zhao in the background doing the same thing. So how does the audio quality sound? Difference? Is there a difference? Now, if you want to get better audio quality, you can use the DJI Mic 3, which comes included with the Creator Combo. I have it right here. Now, one cool accessory that you should definitely pick up if you use a wireless mic is this little magnetic necklace I have right underneath my shirt. So I can just pop it on and boom, I can easily just have a good mounted microphone, pop it off, put it away, and put it back again. Testing out the audio quality between the Osmo Pocket 4 and the 4P. This is on a busy street walk, so things are going to naturally be a little bit noisy, but we're just rocking with the internal microphone on both cameras. So let's first take a listen to the Osmo Pocket 4, and now over to the Osmo Pocket 4P. Is there a difference in audio quality? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, guys, so we have a bit of a low light setting to really test these cameras. Right now I'm shooting in the normal 10-bit mode, and I'm just walking around. Obviously there is some lighting here, but as you can see, both cameras are doing a really good job. But I'm really curious to know if there's any difference in detail, sharpness, clarity. I noticed on the Pocket 4, with its low light enhancement, sometimes it will kind of overdo it, like kind of remove some details and over clean things up. So I'm curious if the Pocket 4 Pro's improved dynamic range improves on that, so maybe we have a little bit more detail. But it's hard to judge on the back of the screens, so we'll have to just play it back and I'll let you know my thoughts. All right, and now for this low light shot, I'm doing the D-Log on the Pocket 4 and D-Log 2 on the 4P. Now, one thing I noticed is there's definitely a difference in exposure and how the camera wants to expose. And so it looks like the footage is darker in D-Log 2. So that's something I'll definitely have to figure out and just test between these is how they work. But yeah, we could just see the difference in total dynamic range, the detail in the shadows, as well as in those highlights, see how well they are capturing. But yeah, this is D-Log comparing these two. Looking pretty good so far. Now I'm still shooting in D-Log, but I thought I would throw on the little fill light just to see what it does, because obviously not in great lighting, so I can just kind of clip that onto the back. So this is at like 100% brightness. You can only see myself, as I move around. Definitely not the most flattering light, but you really need to illuminate the scene. You got it. Need a little fill light?
Yeah, I need a little fill light. Can I get
There
a...
we go.
Ooh, that looks good. There's a fill light.
And then
Okay.
you can adjust the brightness.
No, we need that bright. There we go.
And
There we
then-
go. Oh, and warmth. Now let's get that neutral right there.
Right, neutral?
Yeah,
Boom,
right there.
perfect.
Boom. Nice.
Pretty cool.
Now, with all that being said, there are a few things I don't love about the Pocket 4P. The biggest thing is the color profile workflows. There are some quirks. Like I mentioned earlier, D-Log 2 only works on the main camera. So if you use the 3x camera, you either have to switch profiles or just shoot in the regular D-Log to keep everything consistent. You also don't get log in those higher frame rates, so matching footage takes a little bit more work. And for a pro pocket camera, I was hoping for better durability and some kind of weather resistance. And also like to see some improvements in the design, such as a better grip, better battery life, maybe a bigger screen, and a 1/4-20 on the bottom of the camera for directly mounting to a tripod. And that brings us to the question, should you buy the Osmo Pocket 4P? Well, to answer that, I think it comes down to two questions. Do you need the zoom? And could you utilize the extra dynamic range from D-Log 2? Because I think those are the biggest reasons to get this over the regular Pocket 4. The 3x camera gives you tighter shots and just allows for more visual variety within your videos. And D-Log 2 just gives you way more flexibility when color grading. I think if you're just starting out, the regular Pocket 4 is probably enough. And if you already have the Pocket 3, I'd only really consider upgrading if you feel limited by it. But if you're serious about creating content and want the most flexible pocket camera that DJI makes, the 4P is definitely the one to get. Now I plan on making a lot more videos on this camera, so let me know in the comments what you would like to see next. And make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss those videos. If one of them is already out, you can click or tap the screen to watch that video next.